Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the RNG Endgame, a podcast about the game Marvel's Strike Force. Your hosts are Frid and Creative. We're leaders in an alliance from a large cluster, and would like to share our insights with you to hopefully improve your gameplay and overall experience, and give you a little entertainment.
All right, Creative, here we are with another week for episode 32. All right, so we're going to get started with gearing and leveling, which Creative claims is the whole purpose of the show, for me to talk about my roster.
All week, it's like, hey, we've got a topic to talk about. It's not about your roster. It's not about the alliance. It is about me.
Oh my goodness. So I had stockpiled all of these red orbs. I had 63 regular and like 5 4s and 6 5s and all of this stuff that I had saved for Mr. Dr. Octopus was finally going to be released. So I went through and opened all this stuff because I didn't get him to 5 until the very end. Oh, so sad for me, right? Doc Ock at 5 reds, but it took me to get there. It took me all the orbs. However, as a side effect of opening all this stuff, there were some other goodies in here, and I'll name some of the highlights. I have a 5 red star Shuri, Captain Marvel, Baron Zemo, Swarm, Dr. Octopus that I already mentioned, and of course the best for last, the Ravager Bruiser. But I mean, that's a good list. I'm not complaining.
Absolutely, that's some quality stuff there.
Some good classics, like Shuri's very useful today, and some new ones, for future, Zemo and Zorm eventually. Of course, Bruiser had to be in there. Then on top of that, I got 6 red stars. The first one that I'll mention was the first one I got, which was Hand Archer. Woo!
OP.
Can't wait for the hand rework. He's gonna be. I mean, he's got that crazy AOE. You never know. He may be the one. Then I got Corvus Glaive, which is awesome, except you can't farm him yet. But at least it gives some longevity to that Black Order team. And finally, I think this came out of the first ever 6 red star orb, because I got enough of the duplication, to finally get a 6. Are you ready, Creative, for what I got from a 6 red star orb?
You got Bruiser's friend, the Stitcher?
Nope, it was Emma Frost. Woo!
Wow. Holy cow.
She's also not going to be farmable for a second, but by the 3rd time around, we'll be able to get her to 6, and I have her already. So pretty excited about that one. Because I know there's counters, but she's still painful to deal with in war. And you can insert her in U7 at that level, She'll be useful. So I was excited about that, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could get her quick. But it's going to take a second. Probably, what do you think, 5-6 months?
Yeah, I would say like mid-2021.
Yeah, to get through all the milestones. Anyway, it did save me from spending the credits that I had planned, so I'll have another 5 to think about. And then I bought a 7 red star Thanos. I bought the 6, I bought the 7. That's from the DD3 completion. And I'm back to top number 1, 2 in Arena. So he was the problem, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because if he goes, then the whole thing just kind of falls apart. And that move that he does, the moon thing at 7, is crazy.
Gosh, yeah.
Especially if you've done the flips right, you will have offense up when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
When they do it, they have offense down and you have defense up, so it doesn't do anything. But when you do it, you like blow up the screen. I have won some games even when he goes down, because the rest of the guys can kind of finish it up. So
cool.
Yeah, you still have to do the thing with Arena at the end, though. There's no way around that. To time it and do all that stuff, which I find kind of annoying. But well worth the, what was it? Did we calculate this? How long it's going to take from the Wakanda event? Like 2 years to get the.
It was what, 8 months or something ridiculous? Yeah.
It's like 24 months, like 250 gold
Right.
credits.
That was just for like the 6 Red Star
Yes,
promotion.
and
That's
there's the
right.
7.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like 2 years according to them. But
goodness gracious.
I'm seeing the core balance go up again. Okay, a couple other notes. I opened some mega orbs from this event, and bunch of junk, but I did get a 50 Electro. So with the Blitz going on right now, I got her to 4 already.
Already nice.
Yeah, and she'll be very close to 5. I'm tempted to test my luck with those orbs. I think it's gonna be like 20 maybe that I need. Could be 3, could be 1.
No,
you never know.
It'll be 20, and that'll be 10,000 cores.
And I got 50 X23. Woo! Now
that's worth some serious money right there.
I know, that's a lot of war currency. For a second, I thought I had an outside shot at 6 Dr. Octopus, but no, I mean, it's too far away. She needs like 100 still, and never shows up in the war store. But Domino and Negasonic are very close to 6. Okay, speaking of Doc Ock, I unlocked him. 5 red star, 5 reds, and 5 yellow. And because of the gold limits that I'm putting on myself, plus he was bugged, several bugs. There was a bug to fix the bug within the bug. It's like, I've been very careful. Plus, I want Swarm and Electro to kind of be sort of there with him. So I haven't been able to build him up, but I have played with him in PvP, and people don't know what to do, and he does some work. I did accomplish so more to come on Doc Ock. It's too early to tell whether it's any good. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, to be honest, but let's wait before we pass judgment here.
Okay.
And yet another character with bugs, right? I mean, what was this one? The offense down resistance was applied to
the opponent's team.
I mean, that's
new levels of broken.
I know.
Good
so
gracious.
Electro's move is to put offense down so that you can survive. Well, they would resist it because
yes,
he put
You're
it
helping the other
everybody.
team out. I mean,
wow.
So
then the fix to try to correct it had another bug in which you could summon multiple shockers. So people were showing these screenshots with 3 shockers.
Awesome.
So then they undid that. Apparently it's fixed. I don't even know anymore. I did complete the Sinister milestones very early because of the amount of blitzing. And I mean, again, lots of good rewards in there. I have so much orange stuff, I don't even know what to do with it yet.
Oh, well, they'll fill that plan for you.
I know, soon enough. Tier 15.
Yeah,
that's right. But yeah, I very early finished. It's probably because of the amount of blitz, know, to get those credits.
Yeah, I mean, considering we only needed to do like 2.5 cycles, considering the number of teams you have, and I know what blitz numbers you had, so yeah. Now, are you still doing any PvP?
So yeah, I've been doing it for those credits.
Okay.
To get the orbs.
And are you sticking with the pain train, or are you doing different things?
Well, it is a version of that. It seems to always gravitate towards the same stuff. It's Hela Loki with X23, Taskmaster. I haven't been doing Ghost Rider that much, or Symbiote. And I throw in Doc Ock every now and then just to see what he can do.
Okay. And decent win rate?
I feel so. I feel like it, yeah.
Okay.
Some people are... Typically, if they have Emma and Ebony Maw and some other kind of defensive thing, it becomes difficult. Because you need something to clear those debuffs, because the pain train, But like offense down, X23 into defense up, it doesn't, do anything. So that kind of stuff sucks.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, I have all this gold, and I'm trying to be cautious about spending it. So I don't know. I think I need to spend more. So I may increase it just to get some of these characters up.
Yeah, I'm doing 650 one day, and then I'll do the 850 or maybe 1,000,000 the next day, just because I want to get to the core levels. But I'm locking it down.
I've been doing 1, 2. I think I did 1.4 today. I know there's not much after 1 million, but
Well, I keep thinking I don't have that much stuff to do, and I'm using this opportunity just to flounder and enjoy just playing the game instead of like highly intensive spending 1.8 million a day. So I'm using it
like,
just
what
to
am I gonna put it on? Yeah.
well, that, and I'm trying to get Emma up to 75, so that'll take 10 weeks because
Oh,
you can't even do one level kind of thing.
that's right, because you have like 50,000 ballistic weaves still surplus.
Oh yeah, I could do Taskmaster and Emma today.
My goodness.
If I had all the orange matches. I have all the ballistic weaves, but I don't have all of the uniques for Taskmaster.
I don't have that. I have all the other stuff, but I don't have the weaves. And then I'll have to pick, do I want to do Taskmaster or Emma first?
If only we could like trade each other gear. I just keep coming back to that. Doesn't that sound like a great idea? Anyway. All right. Well, so claps to you. Congratulations. I know you're going to enjoy that 5 red star Shuri out of that list and some of the other characters. And in the 6 to 8 months when Corvus and Emma are finally, where they need to be, you'll enjoy those 6 red stars. So
that's right.
Congratulations.
Will come in handy.
Yeah, so I have a massive stockpile as well. Each week I just go and open about 5 red star orbs if I get a big chunk of gold or something, the seed theory kind of stuff. So I only had about 60, just a few. And I opened 10, and I had a 3 red star Doc Ock, and then I opened 1 Elite 4, and I have a 5 red star Doc Ock. So I still have 55 or so red star orbs. I still have 8 elite orbs, 4 and 4 of 5, the elite 4, elite 5. So I keep wanting to have that orbgasm where I get to open a bunch of stuff, but it hasn't happened yet.
I should tie this back to one of the original conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
And that is,
I couldn't unlock him.
That's right.
Exactly.
So they're like, hey, guy, 5 reds. Come on. I know you want to. Give me your money.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, so I actually think that I may never unlock Doc Ock.
Never? Okay.
Well, so, one is Domino never drops from the Blitz orb. X23 never shows up. I never run out of war currency. All I'm doing is farming X23 and Sinister. And I have a plethora because they never show up. And then Negasonic, I've got a 1 star on on that particular node. So I may never get the guy. So who knows? Oh
my goodness. Okay. Well, you have until like January or something to get your act together.
Yeah, we'll see. maybe they'll put Domino on the Thor node like we thought they would or should. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just don't see myself solving the Negasonic problem. But anyway, so so that was a great time for me. Again, I have my secret seed theory method I'm going to keep sticking to, and thus far it has been working phenomenally. The other thing, speaking of red stars, I had a pretty good, I think it was actually probably last week because we had so much stuff last week. Cyclops finally accomplished his 5th red star. I got that when he came out many, many months ago, and I already had his passive T-Ford. I T-Ford his alt, and I decided I was tired of seeing those 400k Asgardians. Took the X-Men in, and I have been consistently blowing up 400 plus K Asgardians with my beastless X-Men, and managed in a security room. So I have defense down on me, a 100 plus K punch up. I took out a 460 Asgardian team, and of course I've gotten a better X-Men now. They're almost, 350 something. I don't know what they are with all the war bonuses. So I have to say, suck it to Scopely, suck it to the MSF movement. I have Cyclops, and he's doing great, and I didn't have to spend any money. So
that's awesome. I'm seeing the screenshot here about that punch up, and I tried one that wasn't even this close. With the Wolverine version, and no, it doesn't quite get there. It almost did it, but it ran out of juice. It doesn't have that big AoE.
Yeah,
Wolverine doesn't do anything.
Yeah, those two big ults of Dark Phoenix and Cyclops, those are just kind of devastating. So yeah, those I'm very, very happy that I can contribute to war more and take out some of those big teams. I'm also pulling the big guns out, the symbiotes, against the better wishes of some individuals in our alliance. I haven't used the symbiotes yet on the Asgardians, but I know the fight very, very well. I practice it in Blitz all the time. Obviously, it's a little bit different because of the war bonuses. But I'm ready to go for that to take out some big Asgardian teams. And
yeah,
then,
I tried it this week and I failed miserably. So I need to revisit, maybe do that practice in Blitz, what it looks like.
Yeah, so everybody forgets about some important things. No one really wants to bring in Miles, but you probably need to bring in Miles for the disrupt. And then, I see people bring in a bunch of random characters with them. I mean, Shuri's great. She's going to keep them alive to get the train going. I mean, we saw some weird stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? You got to, so anyway.
That was my mistake, is I forget to bring in Shuri.
Oh, yeah.
Probably with Shuri, and Drax is the other one that I was putting in there. But the defense up is huge. So, and then the other trick is to try to get the turn meter to... before Hela goes, get the debuff out of the way if you can. But that could or could not work. It depends. You're just killing Greg over and over again.
Yep.
That's what I've seen.
Thing that people don't realize. The first thing you do, kill Greg. Yeah. The next thing you do, kill Greg.
So the thing is, in one case, not this week, but the one other time that I tried, Greg wouldn't die. He had like 3 deflects, and you had to do like a big move on him. I'm like, this seems wrong, but you have to. I mean, that's the way because of Carnage's passive.
Yeah, I am tempted to bring the Zemo guy in because he kills Greg right away too and does some things. Right. But we'll see. I've got a little ways before my Zemo's ready for that kind of action. What else? Red Stars, another fantastic thing. Corvus Glaive, I have had 4 red stars forever. I keep kicking myself for not buying a few of those Blitz orbs for cores to get him to 4 red stars. Well, I got him on a premium orb a week and a half ago, and he was already T14. Getting that 4th yellow star and 4th red star, he jumped from 60k to 70k, and he now lives significantly more. So now I only need to get Proxima's 5th red star, and that'll happen in 2021. So, good week for finally claiming red stars. I think with the Sinister event, with the farming of X23, all of my teams are now 4 yellow stars, and I don't have a glaring, annoying thing every week during the red star blitz where I can't use a particular team. So that's nice. I didn't blitz as much as Frid, but I did finish the Sinister milestones. We were recording late Friday night just because of some crazy weekends, and I finished 2.5 days early. So, now I don't think I'll be doing much PvP. I haven't blitzed practically at all today, so I am sticking to easy street for now.
So you don't care about Electro then? Because why bother if you
well,
don't have the
I
other
went
guy?
nuts and got 1% on her, so I don't need that much, to be honest. So I think I go to the 2% and I get her to 4 yellow stars. So
yeah, I have 2 red stars or maybe 1, so I need the 3rd. It's the hardest
there you go.
working 3rd red star that you'll ever get.
Yeah,
but then I hope I could buy the 4th if they're any good. I need to see.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, since I'm using my X-Men now to take out those big Asgardians, I did level up Brotherhood a little bit so I can start taking out shields, and now I need a consistent counter for the Mercs. And as we have talked about, or Frid likes to say, I have X-Force Envy, but in reality they're just very, very low. So I'm looking at maybe Zemo, I'm looking at maybe Supernatural, so I'm going to report back on that. But Frid, any immediate thoughts on a Merc counter?
No, I mean, Zemo is definitely apparently the way to go. X23 for sure. They do a number on them. I did try a super ambitious punch up on a Marauders, Emma Marauders with X-Force, and it didn't work.
Oh.
It was close. Like you have him in the red, almost take out Sinister and Emma, but then if you don't, forget it. It's a heal fest.
Yep.
But Mercs, it's a lot easier to deal with. They just destroy them. And I tried a Zemo against Hydra too, just to see what that's like.
Oh, it's a long fight, but it's an easy fight.
Yeah. Yep. You just keep killing them, and if he kills them, then they don't come back with the special one of the abilities. So anyway, it's good.
Yep. Yeah, I mean he works. It just you have to like prep everything every other turn for him to do his thing, and so you like take one of them out. You take one of them out. You take like a good 4 minutes, but you easily can control the fight. So
yes.
All right. Well, now that we spent half the show talking about our rosters that no one cares about, let's talk about the news.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
And boy, did we have some interesting things. So yet again, code quality is dropping like a brick. If you hadn't heard, Zemo had a bug on his ultimate that it wasn't actually rebounding. It was just going in one direction. I haven't seen it, so I think they have fixed that. Frid already talked about the latest big character, Doc Ock, having defects. So yet again, we cannot get a single character released without some sort of significant bug. I mean, it is getting atrocious. So
I think somebody tracked it, and it was like the last 20-something have had some form of bug.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it seems like it every time. Yeah, I gave you a thought experiment about, if you actually spent $500 buying the Black Order, you didn't actually get them in their full form for like 4 months. One is they took forever to come all out, and then they had bugs for a month and a half. So you got to really use the team for about 2 months. And now we supposedly have some counters or, found some things. So I still say why spend that kind of money. But anyway.
Well, we're testing it. You're paying to test the team.
Yeah. And then the biggest bug that came out yesterday, Thursday, was Scopely accidentally, I put in quotes, accidentally released simulation of Blitz and rates, not just Blitz.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, woo, boy.
I saw this, somebody posted it in the Discord of the Alliance. They're like, hey, you can now simulate. I'm like, this is Photoshop. You're lying. And then I went over there and I was like, oh, crap. It's in there. So for how long? Probably about 5 minutes or so, right?
This 5 glorious minutes.
It was the best. So I actually had some teams without, cooldowns to try out. I was like, okay, so it basically appeared on the top left, right above where your team is. There's a space right there, and there was a big button that said simulation, on or off. And when you turn it on, it's basically exactly what you would expect. So all the other stuff is the same. You go through the teams, you pick the opponent, right? But then once you say battle, right? You know what happens? You get the outcome. It
straight
says,
away.
You won. Here's your credits. Continue. And then you're back to the team selection screen. This is what we've been waiting for. So I ran through a bunch of teams in like a minute. And all that experience that we built with the auto method, of shopping for the right matchups, I think this is where it's going to shine, to allow you not to do it fast, but to get the most points. Mm-hmm. Because the cooldowns still apply, right? So it's not like you can
auto for days.
Just do it forever. There's a limit. But so you do want to maximize the points. So the strategy is going to be more about, which teams and the counters that work the best. I can tell you from what I ran, it seemed pretty consistent with what I've seen in my real auto.
Okay.
And as usual, if you go against defenders in auto, I think it's bugged. They play the worst way. They go after like Luke Cage and sit there forever, and he keeps getting healed. They just do it wrong. So I did auto against some defenders, and they lost. So, the matchups that I would expect to win, again, this was like 5 minutes. So it seemed fair. It's basically doing the fight without all the loading or all the animations, which is good. And it worked perfectly, which leads me to believe this has been here for a while, right? When did we see the first screenshot? Do you remember?
I wouldn't say it was during, January or February where we had the MSF movement. They had that screenshot and they said, this is what we're working on. So to me, I'm super excited about this coming, but at the same time, gosh. I'm getting very angry. Clearly this is working and it's been in the game a long time. They could release this, even if it's I'm not going to start cursing, but if it's half-baked, I would take it.
I mean, this wasn't even a patch. It was a switch. Like, yes. They did it on the fly.
This is in your game code, clearly. And there is a configuration switch that says, allow the button or not. I mean, so I'm very curious as to how this actually functions, just because I'm a little nerdy in terms of that. I think a lot of it's happening on the server side, just like the teams generated are happening on the server side. I think they're doing some sort of kind of team ranking. They rank all the characters. You get a total score for the team. And this is how they do sports betting and all that kind of stuff. You get an ELO ranking and they just compare that and done. I think that's how they're doing it because, I saw a couple of videos and it's instantaneous. It's not running the match. So it's
Well, I don't know. If you think about without the engine and the simulation, and you could simulate it pretty quickly, like a machine. Oh, really? I'm talking about like the raw code behind it. You get rid of all the animation and the actions that need to happen. I think you could do it. But maybe it's what you're saying. Who knows?
Well, the reason I say that, I'm seeing some weirdness with the Blitz selection in that defenders half the time is not the highest point total. A team of randoms with Thanos is more points, and I can dunk on that team every time. So I do fear that they've gone that way, and they overvalue certain characters, so you're going to have to navigate around all that. But right. Let's get back to the point at hand. Blitz automation is real.
It's a thing. And we know it is a thing, right? Because they had to come out with
their apology letter, as usual, and said, what you saw isn't fully done, particularly for raids, and it's coming in December. This is why my blood's starting to boil a little. From the few minutes that we saw, and I saw video after video, it works enough. I don't need to wait till December. Come on.
They release characters that you pay for, full of bugs, and they're worried about some button that clearly works.
Yeah.
Oh my God, having bugs, I think you can take it, right? If there's a little bug in it, it's fine. I would do it gladly just to save the time. I'm thinking a cycle will now take five minutes, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Selecting teams, boom, 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 done.
We already have some pointers for our listeners, which is, Frid has already talked at length to me and a little bit on the show about, the Blitz shopping and how important that is for his auto method, which seems to fit very well into this. So a couple things that I'm going to throw in, and then Frid, I want you to kind of add a bit more. First and foremost is have as many Blitz tiers as you can. And so what I mean by Blitz tiers is teams at different collection powers. That gives you more and more shopping windows because you're going to find at some point the game just doesn't want you to win a match. I know you'll see this all the time.
Yep.
And so it's important to have to go through 5 different tiers to get 5 sets of matches so you can get the one that works. And so I have a problem with that. I'm down to 4, maybe 5 tiers or so. So I'm going to have to figure out some ways to space out some teams. So I think that's going to be really important. Go ahead.
One thing, there's the other remedy for that I have is, so Black Order will never lose. So you just reset the whole system by just dunking on something and then coming back. But yeah, the tiers is way better than that because you don't not waste, but you don't have to use some charges there. Anyway. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so that's one. I think the other thing that Frid has been your mantra for this game for a long time is width and breadth of roster. So having a full set of teams that are parking lot level or higher. And as we talk about parking lot, this is level 60, 65, gear tier 10, and, all abilities 6, 4. So, at that level, generally speaking, unless it's X-Force, the team can win. Mm-hmm. I'm just kidding.
Here's another tip.
Yep.
And this super end game, obviously, but I actually did not think about this. This was Duarte, one of the content creators, that said he was working on getting his whole roster to 7 because one of the ways that the selection works is they give an additional star. But if you have him at 7, there's no more stars to give. So it makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, chances. You could just wail harder and get all of your characters to tier 14, and then when they release tier 15, it's all broken. But anyway,
that's gonna be the thing.
So that will be important. What was the other one? I think that was the two biggies: is having enough shopping windows, and then having a volume of teams to do. Is probably the two biggest things. And then, of course, the shopping method, looking for that right pairing. Don't pick another synergy team. Look for the team of randoms, particularly with a minion or something in it. That'd be the kind of the third thing. So people can start practicing up just by, hitting the auto button for the real fight to get ready for that. So here's the question. Go ahead.
I was so happy for those few minutes that we had this. I was like, oh my goodness, the fact that it was working pretty well, I was like, oh my God, this is it, the answer we've been looking for. This will cut, think about it.
It's a massive amount of time.
4 or 5 hours, whatever it is from the game, and the constant just clicking through all of this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I have 2 questions for you on this topic. And I don't want to spend too long talking about it, but do you really think that they can hold this until December, or the player base revolt?
I think they're going to revolt. Why are they doing this, really? I don't understand.
Well, that's the conspiracy theory from some of the content creators is there was a headline that Scopely's trying to get more funding either through a stock offering or venture capital. And so they want to make all their games look very profitable, and they want to high metrics, and their favorite metric is how much time is a player playing in the game. So everybody's saying that that's going to take them a few months to do that, and that's why they're doing all these events that are obviously Blitz and now PvP focused, so they're all in the game, so they look even better. But I do think that the player base is going to revolt. Reddit over the last 2 days is I've never seen so much positivity of please bring something.
Bring in, yep. And there was, when they put up the mega thread or ultra thread or whatever.
Oh, yes, that was even
there were 48 posts in 10 minutes or something. Everybody going nuts. Oh my God, it's here.
It's here.
It's a gift. They're going to give it to us just because. No, not so fast.
I like the best line I saw was Scopely giveth, Scopely taketh away. So that was one question. So I don't think they're going to be able to last till December. I do expect, we're already seeing a lot of content creators getting kind of negative, complaining the same way they were complaining, prior to the end of the year about game time. I don't think they're going to make it to December without a whole lot of complaints, particularly with ISO 8 coming and other things. And so the other question I have for you is, does this make Blitz worthless? I think you said earlier it's just now a campaign of sorts. It's just a farming.
It's like another farming. Whatever it is that they wanted Blitz to be, which I don't understand, right, because of the way it works, then this defeats the whole purpose, right? It's probably why they're holding it back. It cuts back on the time in game, which is one of the metrics, and it also doesn't let you play. It's like war defense, right? You just throw them out there and see what happens. You don't see the fight. But in reality, after, tier 7, where you're doing these crazy punch-ups, it doesn't really teach much. There's really you don't get the bonuses. It doesn't really do anything. So I think it becomes a farm, just like any other thing. And to me, the reason why they're doing it is if PvP is a thing and ISO 8 will be another thing, they need to find ways to cut time. Otherwise, there's no way this is going to be sustainable.
Yep.
So That's got to be what's driving this.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of. Do you think it'll change the release method because of this, or they'll keep just putting because it's easy to release characters this way?
Well, one, it's easy. I mean, and we could talk about code recycling for days, and so they're not going to do anything drastically different. I do think that PvP will be a character release method. You know, again, there'll be some sort of PvP arena type thing, and there'll be character shards there, etc. So we'll see. I don't see them changing that though, but
Okay.
you know, maybe not. Every month we've got 2 major blitzes. In this case, it's like 5 major blitzes that we've had in a row.
So many blitzes.
So I think they can do maybe 1 major blitz per month kind of thing and scale back. So we'll see. Okay. You know, the last thing I will just say is you talked about what the mode was supposed to be. I read a great post a while back, and it just stuck with me forever. And he talked about when the game came out, what Blitz was. And so the mechanics are still fundamentally the same. You have your roster, you go through, you fight. However, the cooldowns were 6 hours. The maximum amount of teams you had was 8. So just think about how little time 8 teams on a 6-hour cooldown is versus
right.
Frid's roster of 24 teams that he can win with at 8.3 every 2 hours. I mean, it's just so what they, released. And again, back to the same comment of last week, we have too many characters. They have kind of broken this game mode. So anyway, fingers crossed that Scopely sees the light and that the player base revolts. For our player base out there, revolt. Get your pitchforks. Demand simulation for Blitz. And then we saw it for raids as well. We haven't even talked about that. So the fact this has clearly been in there, it's baked, it's ready to go. They're just holding it intentionally. Let's start the revolt.
Yeah, let's get this going. I mean, this is big. We need it.
I might post every day and tag Cerebro, bring in Blitz automation. I might start doing that just to be overly annoying so they can see the message. So, okay. What else in the news? So we saw the blog post a few hours ago, and good God, Scream is ridiculous. Long live the symbiotes.
Oh my goodness.
Holy
Wow.
cow. So, great character there. Don't know the release method. Maybe it's a Blitz. I don't know. But that, we've been saying the symbiotes are great. I've raved every day to Frid about the real Apex team that he's now using a little bit with the symbiotes, and that just looks fantastic.
Yes.
There's a lot of other weird stuff about characters moving around. I view all this as positive because new players can farm Captain Marvel, which is, still a solid character, maybe not top 5 anymore, but still a solid character. I'm assuming this is making way for Symbiote Spider-Man maybe to go into the Milestone Orbs. Who knows?
It's said temporarily, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, they hedge their bets on everything. I don't buy in any of that.
Yeah, maybe it's just temporarily, and then it just becomes a thing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So
and they also had the Cyclops coming to Blitz again.
Yep. Yeah, because he never shows up in the raid store either, so that'll be nice. And then what was the other thing? I think last week there was some posts about Doom's kit and the Doom bots, and immediately Creative gave the prediction of recycling the Ultron code, just like they recycled the code for Sinister, for Mr. Dr. Octopus. So to me, it looks like Doom is going to be, Ultron with some bells and whistles, bots and all kinds of things. But, they can't recycle code even efficiently, so we'll see how that goes.
It may not work out too well.
Yeah. All right. And then we have been running the numbers and doing some crazy stuff. And we want to finally give our expose on the stores. So let's run the numbers. And so, Frid and I spent a lot of time and energy tracking what was in the gold store and what was in the war store from an orange gear perspective, particularly the uniques and mini uniques. I tracked 112 store refreshes. Frid tracked 96 store refreshes. And we found a whole lot of interesting things. We crunched the numbers, we ran some percentages, and I have a whole lot of things to cover here. Hopefully I don't run out of breath. So first and foremost, the average number of uniques and mini uniques in both stores at the same time for Frid was only 6.6. For me, it was 6.9. So that means you would have 3 in one store, 4 in another, or 3 in 3. So typically you're seeing at least 6 pieces of mini uniques or uniques. That's good news. And some other good news is that over 75% of the time, we saw 2 or more uniques present in the gold store. More good stuff. The war store always has 2 uniques in it as well. And a mini unique is almost always present in the war store. So there is availability of these things. But here comes the expose that I think everybody already knows the punchline to this because they've experienced it. The bad news is your odds of getting the piece of unique or mini unique that you want are terrible. First and foremost, especially as it relates to mini uniques, half the time a mini unique is not in the gold store. This was probably the most depressing, disheartening thing about all this tracking is these things are rare. We have to buy a ton of them, and they're not even showing up every time. I mean, every store refresh, we should have multiple mini uniques and uniques. There's no question about why that's not occurring. Everybody knows why. It's just ridiculous. The other thing is the stores aren't random. Frid's tracking was probably actually quite a bit more worse than mine. And so, Frid, you saw,
of course,
Shield Tech 40% of your refreshes.
Yep.
And then Oz and the Judas bullets 30% of the time. And then the mini uniques were even worse for you. You never once saw a mini conductor. Again, 96 store refreshes, you never saw a conductor, the tech mini unique.
Yep.
And then ribosomes, Maros, molecular scans, nanites, almost never saw those items. For me, it wasn't as bad, but I had syringes 25% of the time, meaning I wasn't getting a whole lot of other mini uniques. Ciphers, encoded data, my beloved molecular scans that I can never get, and nanites I rarely saw. So clearly, it's not random, and we all know why. And then as soon as we stopped our tracking, because we were tracking not only that, but we were tracking Cyclops and Sinister. Sinister just stopped showing up for you, Frid, altogether.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, and then I didn't see a molecular scan for 2.5 weeks. Of course, I finally got the molecular scans I needed from the event, and Cull is T14. But I clearly you're not seeing some of the things that we need. So is this coincidence? Not so fast. No, not at all. So, the odds, and here's where some of the math is, and I'll try and break this down fairly quickly. Overall, there's 15 mini uniques. So you have a 1 in 15 shot when these things show up. And so based upon our tracking numbers, based upon the odds of a mini unique showing up in the gold or war store, you have a 10% chance to get a particular mini unique in either store per refresh. A 10% chance. So there's 3 refreshes per day. So guess what? You named it. Every 3.5 days, you should see each mini unique. And I know every one of our listeners is going, what? I don't see X, for a week to 2 weeks. And there you go. So I was a little too lazy to track how many of a particular item showed up. Just doing the tracking alone was enough of a pain in the butt. But in the gold store, you see 1 to 3 mini uniques. In the war store, I think you only see 1 or 2. So let's just say, and let's just be generous and be positive and say that on average, your chance of a mini unique showing up, you'll get 2 to purchase. So it takes 3 days for 1 mini unique to show up, the mini unique you need. You would need, and every time you purchased it, you got 2. So on average, you need 60 of these things. So 60, and you can buy them 2 at a time, means you need to do 30 purchases. So you need 30 purchases. It shows up every 3 days, means it takes 90 days for a particular unique for you to purchase 60 of them.
This is just, 3 months?
3 months.
Every day.
Yeah.
Checking. Not missing one refresh, right?
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that, because, you may miss that one.
The one time it shows up.
Because life, happens.
Yeah.
You got to check every day, 3 times. And it'll take 3 months to get what you need.
Yeah, so, and yes, there's orange gear from the War Orbs, and, they've been reworked, so you're guaranteed to get a unique, or mini unique, but you still have a 1 in 15 shot, so yeah, then instead of 90 days, you got 85 days. I mean, so what does all this tell us? So hopefully I didn't lose everybody. The key message is the stores aren't RNG. The odds of these things showing up are terrible. So what is the conclusion from all this? The player base is frustrated. Oh, this is not anything new, you say. Yes, leveling to T13 was terrible. Leveling to T14 was excruciating. I cannot fathom what they're going to do to us for T15.
I mean, they're trying to alleviate it with some of the nodes that have the orange. You've got the mini uniques, the Doom War, which we're still waiting for. But now we have 15 on top of all this. That's going to be another problem. So, yep, this is going to be something else. I can't even start on that.
So, one of the things that say at work is you can complain, but let's come up with a solution. So let's talk about some solutions. First and foremost, we've said it 100 times. I'm going to keep saying it 100 more. The store RNG needs to go away. You have to buy 180 to 108 mini uniques to level most of these characters up to T14. That's 3 pieces times however many you need. That alone should be enough of a constraint. The fact that you have to wait on the store RNG is terrible. It's horrible. So, get rid of the store RNG immediately. Give us the option of buying these things more directly, at least double the number of slots in the stores, at minimum. Again, you have to buy over 100 of these just for one character. We don't need the RNG element of the store as well. So, yes, we're going to get some relief, probably by Thanksgiving, that the Doom War campaign will be fully realized. And so that's nice. But we still then have to dedicate half of our energy, if not more, just to farming these mini uniques now. So it's time that we increase the free energy. Instead of 80, give us 120. When you do the cores, instead of 120, give us 150. We're going to need more energy to accomplish all of this farming. So that's 2 solutions. More energy, less RNG. The other thing is stop increasing the mat requirements for gear and leveling. And so, every time we go up a character level, we need so much more of a training mat, so much more gear, so much more gold. And it's creating worse and worse bottlenecks. And then Scopely has to pump in more and more free materials into the game economy, which they don't want to do. So, yes, that has positive factors for the new players that they can kind of catch up a little bit faster if they can get to mid-game and in-game content. So that's a positive. But you're making the bottle games so much worse for the in-game players and really for the overall player base. I mean, the increase in gold spend to go from level 70 to 75 was a 26% increase. If we apply that 26% increase to 70 to 75 to 80, you're going to have to spend $2.5 million in gold plus 2,000 T2 training mats just to do that. Now, Frid, you saw some stuff from Zeratools, maybe that's saying it wasn't going to be that bad.
Yeah, I mean, he had a chart that apparently shows what the gold is from 75 to 80. And it was only a 7% increase, so like 2.1 million. But again, these are all based on data mines. We won't know until we see it. I'm assuming it's going to be the same exponential growth that we've seen. But
I mean, we already have gold problems to begin. I mean, we're hoarders and we know when to spend and all that. But I mean, we don't have any. Again, Wolverthor's famous video during the Fix MSF movement about, it would take him 8 years to get the gold he need to do, the basic things that he has today, much less all the other characters. So. All right. So anyway,
one thing before that I've offered in the past, and I think because your solutions here about more energy or whatever, good luck. Something more realistic. is the thing that I said about the increasing the cost of the refresh, but it applies to all the stores, right?
Oh, right.
So maybe you say it's 100, but you get a whole suite, right? So you do your purchases rather than 50 each every single store. I mean, it's crazy. Plus, who's refreshing the Blitz store? Let's be real here. But anyway, just another suggestion of an idea.
Yeah, a superior idea is just get rid of the RNG.
Just get rid of RNG is the best. But since I know that's not gonna happen,
yeah.
Then I'll give you some cores if you give me something, right? This 50 per store, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
Anyway.
No, that's good. Just another potential solution. I really boil all of our problems down to two key things. Everything has become a whale fest. And I've said this in the past. ISO 8's going to be a whale fest. Red Stars are a whale fest. Everything now is purchasable. You can buy a new character. You can buy all the gear. And, for people that spend $1,000 a month in this game, let's have a conversation first and foremost, because you're not getting that kind of satisfaction out of the game. Anyway, so that causes so many problems. I don't think everybody fully equates all that. Yes, people can cut to the end of the front of the line because they pay money, and I don't like that. I think it destroys games, but and there's other ways to make money. I mean, the fact that Fortnite is making billions of dollars tells us that. But the problem with that is they have now allowed characters to even buy Red Star promotion tickets. There's an offer out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a calendar where you get 30 Red Star promotion credits, the gold variety, for $35. So you're going to spend over $150 to promote one character to 7 Red Stars.
Hey, but it saves you like a year or whatever it is of the Wakanda event.
Again, $150 just for one Red Star. So anyway, and we can go into a lot of different examples. We've had a topic saved up for 6 months about the offers and how bad they are, but we'll move on. So that's one big problem is when you allow people to cut in line, you then have to control everything else. And that means a lot of the free gear and all that. And ultimately, Scopely controls the demand. Whether we want to admit it or not, they control the demand. They certainly control the supply. They certainly control the price. This is the very definition of a predatory monopoly. Take Beast as an example. The X-Men were already fantastic. I don't have Beast, and I'm blowing up big Asgardian teams. So they held him forever. And the reason they held him is because there was no way for them to force you to want him, to force demand for that. So they held him. And then ultimately, they made him available at the right time. They made him available when Do More came out and you needed a 3-star nodes to accomplish the Do More campaigns. And so you can farm your mats. The other thing is, very soon we're going to see new challenge tiers. And guess who is going to be fantastic for that? And that you can have Phoenix die, therefore creating demand for this character. I have no need for Beast. So, this kind of stuff, and certainly gamma raids, it would be nice, for the people that have 5 freaking mutant nodes in a row, it's pretty rough. But, so to me, I boil a lot of our problems down to that. I don't have solutions for that. That's a little, my head's kind of exploding at the moment on those two things alone. So, Fred, save me from my negative track here. I mean, so we ran a lot of crazy numbers on the store. We knew the punchline already, but we have numbers to back it up. I don't really know where to go with that beyond, throwing it in the face of Scopely saying, yeah, we know it, you know it, let's improve it, and those solutions.
Well, I mean, they need to relax it between tier 15, whatever that's going to look like, and ISO 8, whatever that's going to look like. There may be an ISO store. There may be a PvP store, like you're saying, with an orb and all that. There's enough currencies. I mean, you think about crazy spreadsheets that we maintain. You should see some of these about all the different currencies and how much we earn from each. It's taken us forever to figure out what the earn rate is. And you're about to dump more stuff without helping the existing bottlenecks. Something has got to be done, right?
Yeah.
I think your solutions are good. I just don't see them increasing the energy. Well, doesn't it increase what is it, 134? You'll get to 139 or whatever. Get 5 extra energy to level 80,
Yeah.
which takes, that grind is like a couple months, right?
Oh,
of
yeah. It
playing
took
the
us
game.
forever to do 70 to 75.
Yeah, so that you could even level the characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how, without increasing what we get, they'll get out of this problem.
Yep.
I mean, the Blitz thing is a step in the right direction, but it's going to be substituted with some other time-consuming thing.
Right.
It's like any company, right? You lose revenue, quote unquote. You have to make it up some other way. You either come up with a new product or a new idea that will draw the people. So that's probably where we'll end up. But for the existing challenges, they need to do something. And it's not just about spending money. I mean, I know they're here to make money, but there's got to be a way to get there. Otherwise, people are just going to quit after playing for 2 years,
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, we've been a bit negative. Anytime we run the numbers, as Fred has joked in the past, that leads to to more rage. But I wanted to do that exercise because I was staring at the stores every day, and I'm like, where the heck is my molecular scans? Where is my iCores?
No.
And it is clear, those things they're not bugged. They're intentional. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you're really into it, you can dive into the patents and stuff that some of these companies have. There's people that have done, dives into the internet to look at patents on how you can manipulate the odds of things dropping, which is the basis for seed theory, but it's also the basis probably for this. Like, I have 60-something shield tech and I get it 40% of the time because obviously I don't need it anymore. Where's the other stuff that would be more useful? Ballistic weaves, anyone.
Yeah, that also reminds me of how bad the orange elite gear orbs are. I was like, oh gosh. Yeah, we keep talking about that all the time as well. Those are horrendous.
Oh, that we do 100% Greeks, and it's like, oh, here you go. Nothing. Again.
Yeah. Oh, and it's a live Friday night here. We have received our compensation for Blitz automation being accidentally released. And it is 5 Elsa shards and 500 of the sinister fragments.
I saw that.
I would like actually to turn automation back on.
That should be the compensation.
That's the compensation I would like. Anyway, yeah.
By the way, out there, a pop-up when I was looking at that for Red Skull for $199.50. It would give me a 6-star Red Skull. I think for $2, I'll pay my tribute. I know you're in a no spend no matter what.
But, well, my problem is I need a lot more than 50. Well, I mean, it's only $4 though, and that would get him to 5. I'm looking at it right now.
It's 2 purchases. That's right. 2 purchases.
You get 100 shards for $4.
You unlock him for $4. Hey, wow,
that's not
bad. It must be that he's coming, right? Definitely.
Yeah. Well, we've had a bunch of stuff. Yeah, coming.
New player friendly though.
Absolutely. And again, we talked last. So here's a couple more things to prove that Scopely listens to this. We complained last week about new players and even mid-game players can't get to any of the war defenses. And what do? Red Skull is now cheap. Let's call him cheap, but you can buy him. We said Supernatural would be a great team for people to focus on for war. He unlocks the Mystic Campaign, or they unlock the Mystic Campaign. They're a good war attacking team. And guess what? There's an offer out there. It's a mere $25. But you get 100 shards across the board of good characters.
Yeah, so, I mean, 500 shards for $25 of a solid
full team. That's fantastic. So
yeah, that's a good deal. Did you see, now that we're talking about this, the 15 shards of yo-yo?
Yeah, I just laughed.
For $15. Yes.
$1 a shard. Oh, and then here's a few premium orbs. Well, you'll never get yo-yo as well.
Yeah, those are rigged to not have her for sure.
Yeah, that's horrendous. So anyway, we always talk about offers. Frid's like, did you see this offer? My answer is always no, because I just close the pop-ups and I never go look at the offers.
No, I'll mention one more thing about offers. Yeah. Apparently, there's a new kind of offer around Red Stars that is $20, right? And it used to be 3, 4, or 5 of one character, right?
Yeah.
Well, now is of a team, so you get a chance of a 3, 4, 5 of each of the members of the team.
Oh.
So, as an example, Red Star Asgardian, you have $20. You get 5 orbs, and each has one of them: Hela, Thor, Loki, Sif, and Heimdall. And there's a roll for a 3, 4, or 5 Red Star. I think you have a 20 Red Star Loki, so you probably would not benefit. But something like this for $20 that gives you 5 chances, at Red Stars on individual characters. Very new player friendly if you have this team, which is, I guess it's not a new player team. Right. But even if you, for some reason, I know you have some teams you lament that have sucky Red Stars, this could be a way to get there. Again, it's $20, but
yeah,
that's better than one character, So,
yeah, and a whole team. Because, that's the problem, right? You get these characters that are so out of balance. You get your 5 Red Star Magneto, and you have a 3-star Juggernaut, and you're kind of hosed. So
exactly. So this is
wow. And looking at these, wow, Asgardians, Avengers, and they have the X-Men all for this crazy offer. Yeah. I don't need any of those for me because we all have them at 3 Red Stars. So I'm not going to pay for getting 3 Red Stars all over again.
Yeah, but the only one I need is Loki, and Thor could get a 5, but that's I'm not. It's low chance.
Yeah, so I have so one is, this is interesting. They don't publish the odds of a 3, 4, 5. They don't tell you if it's 33.33% chance of getting each of these or how it all works. I don't like the fact they don't publish some of the odds around this, but it's interesting. It's certainly better than, here's a chance to get a hero controller at 2 or 3 Red Stars. And you have no idea what you're going to get.
One hero controller is like,
hero controller.
This is more specific, very narrow. The price is still a little hard to swallow, but it's much better than what they've done before. So I'm glad they're testing some other stuff, but I know you're not going to spend so.
No, but this is interesting. It's some interesting catch-up mechanics for sure. And then, of course, the offers of, ridiculous amounts of money for the mini uniques is the other funny one.
Well, yeah, let's not even go there. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think we've beaten enough of this to a pulp.
Yep.
And, it did take a lot of work. I refused at first, and then I got the hang of it, and it was like addicting. I was like, I want to get my... Then we argued about what system was better to track. But we got it.
Yep.
I was complaining to Creative about how many clicks I had to do.
Oh, jeez. The griping I heard about clicks. But anyway, it was interesting to do.
It was all set up very nice and streamlined. I was still complaining about having to click like 2 extra times.
The things I do for our listeners, the things I put up with. So anyway.
Well, I got really into it, and I enjoy tracking it and seeing it, and hopefully you find this information useful as we bring it to you.
Yeah, so anyway, we've gone way over.
I think we've gone on long enough.
And so our future sessions, we want to talk about U7. We've been spending a lot of time looking at good teams and doing research there. And then we certainly want to talk about alliance management and some kind of interesting things that we've done there. So just to wet people's whistle, so there's some topics for the future. But as always, thanks everybody. Oh, Fred, I forgot the most important thing. How do people continue the conversation?
That's right. You can find us on all the podcast providers out there. You can find us on Twitter at rngendgame. You can write to us the old-fashioned way, rngendgame@gmail.com. We're on YouTube and Twitter. The best way to make me happy is to leave a review on the the only podcast store that matters. The Apple Podcast Store. We'll always read them on the show, and we really appreciate when you find this. You find us and you enjoy it enough to put a review out there. And last but not least, there's the public Discord. The link will be on the show notes. It's been a little more active as of late. There's some more people coming in. We have the conversation going. Creative pops in there probably more frequently than I do, but I'll pop in there too every now and then and put my 2 cents, so you can come and hang out with us and interact, ask questions. New players, veteran players, alliance captains, all kinds are welcome. So again, that'll be on the show notes.
All right. Well, with that, let's close it out. Grab your pitchforks, grab your torches, demand Blitz automation. Now, thanks everybody. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks everybody.
We'll talk next week.